Good evening. So today I am going to show you how I make, and I just now thought of the name of this. I'm going to call it Lazy Leftover No Recipe. I just added that pot roast. And the reason I'm doing this is because a lot of people tell me, hey, I don't know how to cook, or I don't like to cook, I hate cooking. Well, I want to show you that cooking does not have to be hard. You don't even have to have a recipe. It can be really easy, and you can just use the stuff in your refrigerator that's left over. So I think that it's really important that you have several staples, menu items that you make all the time, like tacos and hamburgers. You don't really need a recipe for that, but you need a few things that are just easy, that you just, throw in the oven or throw in the crock pot. So I'm going to show you how I make this pot roast. I'm going to go over all the ingredients. Now, the only thing I bought that I had to make specifically for the pot roast was a chuck roast, and I got that at Walmart. You can sear that on high heat, both sides, just 5 minutes each side, just to keep the flavor in. But I'm telling you, today it's rainy. I'm lazy. I don't even want to do that. So you don't have to do that. I just threw it in there. So I'm going to go through what I put in there when I pulled from my refrigerator, and hopefully you'll find this as easy as I do. So, of course, you always need a base because it's going to braise. I always have beef stock and chicken stock in my refrigerator. I can use this for soups. I can use this for a gravy. A lot of times when I make my steaks, I like to have a little sauce with it. So that's real important. And then if you have any leftover wine, some people drink all their wine. I have a tendency to leave a lot of wine. I usually don't drink wine unless I have company. So once my company leaves, I have a lot of wine left over. So what do I do with it? I throw it into recipes. But I do buy these little boxes that I could use for cooking wine. So I have some of that. And then the vegetables that I used is I had several onions left over that I had started but hadn't finished. I think I put 2 big onions in the refrigerator. I also have some mushrooms in there. And then I had a big bag of peppers. So I think I put like 2 or 3 of those in there. And then I added some garlic. I always keep a can of garlic. Some people like fresh, but I tell you what, I always know I have garlic, and so I always keep a can in there. Sometimes you can put vinegar in soups and pot roast and stuff like that. It gives it a little bit of a sharpness, but it also pulls the flavor from the meat and enhances it. But instead of using vinegar, I had some of this sun-dried tomato and garlic vinaigrette, and I had about that much left, so why not use it up? Chips and salsa, you have salsa for your chips, and then sometimes you have a little bit of salsa left. I had about that much, just threw it in there. And I also put some of this in there, which I won't pronounce, so my friends will make fun of me for not saying it correctly. Then I always have several bottles of hot sauce, right? So a couple of dashes of that. Then you also some ginger. I'm in this energy kick right now where I'm using ginger. Ginger is supposed to help with energy, so I put some slices of that. And then, of course, salt and pepper. And then with your pot roast, you can make it many different ways. You can make it kind of soupy, which mine is kind of more of a soupy one today. Or you can have it kind of thick, like the traditional one that Grandma used to make. And how Grandma made that was she put flour in it. So you can put some flour in there that will thicken it up. Just put it with something cold, like put it in with your beef stock, and beat it so it's mixed well. Put it in there cold. Or you can wait till after everything's cooked and then just take the sauce out on your saucepan and thicken it that way. But like I said, this is lazy pot roast. I don't even want to do that. So what I use sometimes, and I like the flavor of tomato in it, is I use tomato paste. I used about 2 tablespoons. Probably could have used a little bit more of this today, but that's a staple that I always keep too because it's a great thickening agent. Okay, so I'm trying to see if there's anything that I forgot, and I don't think so. So now I think the thing is we want to taste it, and we want to see what it looks like. So I'm just going to, it cut up really easy with a fork and knife. Let it cook for about 5 hours on high heat, and I just barely touched it and it fell apart. So here's the meat right here. Here's some of the peppers. I don't know if you can see this. Here's some of the peppers and the onions. So it makes a nice flavorful sauce. And then of course the best part is tasting it. I love it. It just melts in your mouth. It's just seasoned just right. It has just a little bit of a kick. Warms you up on kind of a cool day. And you have leftovers for several days. So I hope you found this helpful, and cheers!